Hello, guys. How we doing? Welcome back to the Three Hammers. The West Ham were brought back down to earth yesterday after such a fantastic start to the season. Me and Paul are going to talk about that. We've obviously got the news of Fornals rejecting a contract. We've got Bowen's contract talks continuously being spoke about. We'll look ahead to the European game as well and Liverpool on Sunday. But after this, we'll be back. Yeah, mate. After a fantastic start to the season, we was brought back down to earth a little bit yesterday, weren't we? I said it in my preview. I said, everything had to be perfect. Areola had to have a worldie. You have to take your chances and then hope that City, like Haaland has an off day and stuff like that. It nearly at times, I could probably tick off a few of those. Areola had a worldie. Haaland had a bit of an off day, and at times we did play really well in the game. How did you see it, mate? Let's start with the starting lineup. Yeah, what did you think that?
I can understand the reasoning behind it, but I wasn't too happy to see Souček come straight back in. I think the last couple of games we've been better without him, honestly, in that midfield. I said to you before the game, you can understand that Moyes is saying, I want to be a bit more defensively sound, so I bring him back in. But then Paqueta has the most tackles of any player in the league, so he was fine in that midfield role, putting the tackle in. I didn't really want to see Paqueta moved out wide to accommodate Souček coming back in. But apart from that, happy enough. Stick with what's been working. You can't really argue with that.
Yeah. So first off, mate, we did what we expected, low block, and they had some serious chances. I don't know how Haaland didn't score about 7 goals in that game. Areola pulled off some great saves in the first half. I don't know, and then we sort of woke up a little bit and then decided to pass the ball a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah. And we had some good chances ourselves, Definitely the very beginning of the match, we were massively under the cosh. And unbelievable that we didn't concede in sort of the first 10, 15 minutes. Like you say, Haaland missed an absolute sitter, which you'd expect him to put away 9 times out of 10.
Causing Soufal nightmares, wasn't he?
Yeah. And I mean, that was obviously we talk about it when it comes, but you could see that coming. He was rinsing Soufal over and over and over again, and it's hard to really blame Soufal for that. I think most defenders are going to struggle against him.
Think, potentially, like you say, it's hard to blame him. Maybe Moyes there should have gone, look, we need to help him out here, or maybe put in Curver there, just to try something different there.
Yeah, I mean that's because I was thinking about it during the game, and at half time I was thinking, well, what change would you make? And you could try and bring Kehrer on, but Kehler's, he might be a little bit faster than Soufal, but is he going to make that much of a difference? Probably not. So I don't know if there was much we could have done. And like I say, I think he's gonna ruin a lot of defenders this season. That guy, pace and acceleration.
It's the ability to go left and right as well. When you don't know whether he's going to go down a wing or he's going to cut back inside. Like he was a good player. He was a good player. Maybe could have hit him a bit earlier. Maybe that might have quieted him a bit. Maybe could have gone through him a little bit. I suppose.
Maybe, yeah. And I think you could see Bowen was trying to get back, and they were trying to double up on him. And even start the second half when he got the goal. It's not as if there weren't defenders around him, players around him. You say, maybe could have gone in, but
let's talk about the first half. Our goal, mate, it was Soufal, but ironically, Bowen sort of picked the ball up, laid it into Soufal's pass, little round the corner ball, lovely ball in from Soufal. We sometimes criticise him for the crossing, but that was a great cross, mate. And signing of the season, puts it in again, mate.
Yeah, good goal. It was a good goal, good counter-attack. Like you say, Soufal did well, put in a lovely ball. And Ward-Prowse, like you say, mate, what a signing. What a signing, What is it? 2 goals, 3 assists now?
In
4 games.
Or assists.
So, fantastic. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. And
I thought he played well as well. thought he had a good game in general, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think anyone particularly. The only player I would kind of maybe criticise, and this might be being unfair, but is Antonio. I don't think Antonio really did anything at all when he was on the pitch.
Maybe, again, just maybe I'm criticising because he was at fault for the goal. Issa Agurd, as I'm going to call him whenever he does a wobble. Yeah, actually, let's do the first goal. So Doku, yeah, what a great way to go in at half-time. 1-0 up, you're thinking, listen, if we can keep it tight for 15 minutes, we might be all right here. But then, what was it, 40-odd seconds? He's cut in from the right-hand side. Just a poor goal, really, wasn't it? There was no challenge there.
Yeah. And just like you say, mate, just not exactly what you want, and completely put us on the back foot, really.
At 1-1 though, mate, we did have a massive chance. Zuma with the head up, a wonderful save from Edison, wasn't it? Where we should, if that goes in, you're starting to think, yep, we're going to do this. Was it at 1-1 or 2-1 when Antonio got put through? Was we already 2-1 down at that point? I can't remember.
No, I think that was at 1-1, was it? I think that was at 1-1.
Yeah,
when Antonio got put through and he took it every touch, kicked it straight to the keeper. Yeah, poor. And like I say, I think Antonio's started the season really well. He started the season well. He scored some good goals, but I don't think he did anything really yesterday. He didn't do anything. He didn't really hold the ball up. He didn't really get in behind. He didn't really do anything yesterday. I feel like he was a bit of a wasted player yesterday.
In my opinion, I don't know whether it's yours, mate, the sort of turning point of the game is just as Moyes was about to take Souček off. Obviously, Edison went down with hopefully not a major injury, because I thought he was fantastic in the game. The way he fills in at centre back, and then he's disciplined enough to sit in. And I just think we lost our midfield as soon as Alvarez went off. What about you? And there's no obvious choice to go in there off the bench, is there?
No, I agree completely, mate. And do you know what? I said this to you. I credit Moyes for going for it. It looked like he was going for it. The changes that he was looking to make were positive changes. And I really think if Alvarez had stayed on and Souček had come off, and we brought on Benrahma and Kudus, I said at the time, for me that should be our starting 11. I'd love to see that as our starting 11 going forward. And then that would have kept that base of the midfield, Alvarez in there, who was breaking up play really well. He was on a yellow card, but he was breaking up play really well. When he wins the ball, he can pass it off. And then you would have had Paqueta in front of him with Ward-Prowse, Benrahma on the left, Kudus on the right, Bowen up front. I would have loved to have seen that. And I don't. Yeah, Souček, I like Souček, but he's not that sitting defensive midfield player. He's just not that player.
He's not clever enough to do that. You've got to be really, really clever to play that role. And the discipline to fit in at centre back, and then, to step in when you need to step in. Yeah, I thought that was a bit of a turning point in the game. They did get their goal. It did, don't get me wrong, it took a lot of chances. Bloody Haaland just kept getting stopped by Areola, didn't he? Every single time. But yeah, the ball was flicked in by Julian Alvarez. And then Agurd just had a wobble, didn't he? That was a really poor goal. Really poor goal. Bernardo Silva's goal.
Yeah, it was awful. Agurd completely mistimed the header, completely mistimed his jump. The ball floats over his head. You could argue as well, Areola, he had an incredible game, but Areola maybe should have just come out and cleaned everyone out to get to that ball. But he didn't. Obviously, he was kind of anticipating Agurd, I suppose, winning that header. And just really, really poor. And it's a shame because we defended really well up to that point. Like you say, Areola was having an absolute worldie, save after save after save. Laying into Souček a little bit, but he did clear one off the line as well.
Yeah.
So we were defending really well. And then just a lapse of concentration. And it's like you said, mate, against City, you have to be perfect throughout the entire game.
You have to have so much perfect. You've got to be
and that's all it takes.
Because even, Haaland didn't have his best day. he still put one in. You know, I can't fully remember who laid him off, but it was a good finish, wasn't it? And a 3-1, that's
It
it.
was
It's done. You know?
Bernardo Silva, I think it was.
Yeah. How did you feel after the game? Was there a bit of disappointment? Was it we didn't play well, or we did play well? Like, what was your sort of final thought on it?
I was pleased, mate. I was pleased. You know, it's a shame. I think it's a shame we lost 3-1. You know, I think if we'd have lost the game 2-1, I think that would have been a bit more deserved maybe on the performance. You know, let's be real, we were riding our luck at times, like Ariola making save after save after save.
29 shots up. I think they had 29
I don't
shots.
I don't think you can realistically argue that we deserved a point out of it. You know, if we did get a draw, it would have been lucky, and obviously you would have took that. But considering we were playing that against Man City and the way we approached the game, I thought was fine. I was pleased with this. Apart from obviously Alvarez coming off injured, which changed things up a little bit, I was pleased with the subs that Moyes was trying to make, and he was trying to make them at a good time as well. It weren't the usual wait until the last 10 minutes. You know, it was a good sort of 20 minutes. He was trying to make changes. Yeah, I was pleased with that. I was pleased with obviously going ahead. Yeah, mate. Honestly, you know, obviously, yeah, we lost, but no, I don't have criticisms for that game at all. I don't. None from me. I don't know about you, mate, but there's none from me.
No, mate. I thought, you know, we're playing the best team in the world. You know, that's won the treble. We scored against them. We kept it tight for a while. Yes, don't get me wrong. Ariola had to pull off some worldies. We had to have one cleared off line. But, you know, in those sort of games, like you say, mate, to have won that game, we would have, you know, had to have cleared a few more off the line. You know, that's just the way it's the way it is in those sort of games. I know some people on YouTube, West Ham, have criticised it, saying, "Oh no, you know, the low ball, it wasn't good. It wasn't fun to watch, and you know, it was a bit of a deluded performance for people that thought we played well." But again, you do have to take into account that it is Manchester bloody City. And then I keep saying to you nearly every week, mate, on here, really look at that Brighton result now and see how good West Ham's result was against Brighton. They have absolutely pumped teams. Newcastle, Man United yesterday. And nearly every one of their games is 4-1, 3-1. The fact that we beat them 3-1 shows that, you know, we're going to be all right this season. We ain't going to get relegated.
Yeah.
No. And I'd like to think, you know, we could push for a top 7 finish. You know, whether we finish top 7 is a different story, but I think we'll be the right side of the table this year. You know, it's just, you'll probably agree with me, mate. It's what he shows me now after this Liverpool game. You know, probably the European game's a good one to look at. And then after that, how we play then, you know, how we're going to approach these games. That's what Tony Gale said as well, didn't he, in commentary yesterday? You know, it's all good low block, but are you going to control possession and try and take it to teams going forward?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you say, and we had a rough, well, I say rough, we had a hard run of games against some good teams. And yeah, like you say, you can understand playing like that. That's why I said before the Luton game, you know, it's all very well sitting back playing that low block. You can't play like that against Luton, and we didn't. And yeah, you know, it's like you say, it's how we carry on going forward. What I would like to see as well, again, Man City, a different beast. You know, they're the best team in the world. They've got the best players in the world. Obviously, we're gonna play like we played. You can't play any other way. They're gonna kind of force you into playing like that. But what I would like to see from Moyes is being more adventurous against the so-called big teams that are struggling. So when we go and play Man United,
like Brighton did against Man United yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. When we go and play against Man United, I don't want us to treat them like they're this unbeatable top team in the world. They're not. They're not. They're the games I want to see us go for it. Even, to be honest, mate, even against Liverpool, I would like to see us open up a little bit.
I know that, again, people are going to go, "Oh, you're talking about beating Liverpool. They've won, I think they're undefeated in 16 games in the league." But, mate, the way they played yesterday, they did not look good. Again, they got a little bit of luck, you know, just that little bit of quality in the end, and Wolves sort of collapsed a bit. But I think, you know, we can have a little go at them next week. I do. I really do think we can have a little go at them.
Absolutely. I agree, mate. Absolutely. You know, and yeah, you look at the stats, but when you look at the way they're playing, Absolutely, mate. Yeah, I want to see us. I want to see us go for it. But yeah, it's those kind of games where I want to see a change from Moyes. I don't want him to treat all these teams as unbeatable just because they're a name.
Yeah.
Treat them on their form, on how they're playing. That's what I want to see going forward.
Yeah. That right hand side of Liverpool is definitely a weakness at the minute. Even if Trent played, Trent is not the best defender. Joe Gomez didn't look quite right there yesterday. Again, Neto was fantastic for Wolves, but yeah, they can definitely be got at, mate. 100%. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Let's just go into the comments now. Has Emerson impressed you? I think he has improved significantly. Yeah, me and Paul talk about him all the time, privately in WhatsApp group. He's fantastic. He is. He's so direct. Maybe sometimes he can be caught because he goes a little bit too far forward, but I love his directness. What about you, mate?
Again, I say this every week, mate. I've always liked him. I've always rated him. I always say this. When he first signed and he was getting pelters from all corners, I was here backing him up. I've always rated him, always liked him. Watching him for Italy. And has he improved, or has he just sort of got used to the team playing around him? I don't know. I don't think he's really improved. I think maybe he's just got more used to his teammates. I think the link up he has on the left with Paqueta and Benrahma when he plays is fantastic. I think those three, when they're moving up the pitch, the little triangles they can play. And what's frustrating is they're really the only three players in our team that can do that. I feel like there's a bit of an imbalance because those three can move.
Ward Price can play the nice football though.
He can.
He can,
he can. But the problem is he's got no one to do that with on the right hand side. Soufal can't do that. Bowen can't do that. I love Bowen, but he's not that player. He can't do that.
He's not a ticky-tacky passer. Yeah,
and you can see it. When we're playing on the left, moving up the pitch, it's ping, 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 lovely little passes, and then it goes to the right. And it's kind of like no one really knows what to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just back on that, Paqueta, mate. Did you see his little hug with Pep before the game? I think again that screams of Rice Arteta. That does, doesn't it?
Of course, mate. Yeah, of course. And
what a performance from him though yesterday, mate. He's
brilliant performance.
It's
a weird one.
Is ridiculous.
You can't blame him for wanting to join a team like City.
No, you can't.
To win everything. You can't blame him for wanting to go and play underneath the best manager in the world.
Yeah.
You can't blame him, but mate, come on. In your home stadium, running over to the bench to give him a hug. No, I didn't like that.
No, I didn't like that. No, but he did play well. He did a really good game yesterday. A really good game yesterday. Great first half. The changes in the second half did us. Could have seen that a draw, possibly a nick to win. What are your thoughts on Jesse Lingard? It will happen. He's going to come. I'm not against it because we lose Benrahma and Kudus will go in January for the African nations. And if we get, just an half decent Jesse Lingard who can pass the ball, move the ball up the midfield, I'm not against it at all, mate. What about you?
Yeah, like you say, it's going to happen. We all know it's going to happen. It's kind of a... If you said to me, you need to pick out a player to sign, it wouldn't be Jesse Lingard. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near the player that we had during that 6-month spell. But it's a no-loss signing, really. It's a no-loss signing.
I think you can't lose on it. European games as well. There's a bit of depth there with the European games.
Yeah, you got... As long as the contract is sensible, there's no downside, really. There's no downside. As long as the contract's sensible, there's no reason not to give him a contract. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we do. I think.
Listen, if he comes in and scores, even just 5 goals between now and the end of the season, those 5 goals would be quite crucial.
I said to you the other day, the way that I will be looking at him is I will be looking at him as a Lanzini replacement. He'll be Lanzini's replacement in the squad, and I don't have a problem with it as long as it's a sensible contract. I wouldn't
said this in it. Sorry, mate, go on.
No, I was just going to say, like I say, I wouldn't say, oh yeah, I really want to sign Jesse Lingard. I hope he signs, but if he signs, I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, I think my only sadness with it, mate, it's good before I go back in the comments, is I think it just pushes, the man who's going to go,
Mm,
because he has rejected the contract now, Pablo Fornals, it just sort of pushes him further down the pecking order.
mm.
And, I think, sadly for him, I think his career is just going to be seen out as Lanzini's was last season, mate, an underused sub that can provide a bit of magic at times. I'm gutted that he will leave, but I can't blame the man.
Yeah.
I can't.
No, I can't blame him. And like you, mate, be absolutely gutted. I think he's proper West Ham. You can tell he absolutely loves the club. He loves the fans. He gets us. He does. He gets Fornals gets us. He gets the West Ham way, and he's a great player. He is a great player.
Also
I
young
think
as well. It's only 27. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? He'll be
I think he's
28 next year.
been criminally underused.
He's just been like scapegoated. Like he was one of Moyes' favourites at one point, and then
mm.
I don't know, just dropped further down. Only the pecking order.
It wouldn't surprise me. Again, this is based on absolutely nothing. This is pure speculation on my part. But it wouldn't surprise me if he did have words with Moyes and sort of say, "Why am I being played as an auxiliary left back?" Basically,
Mm,
and Moyes has sort of said, "Well, if you don't like it, tough." Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And it Pablo will leave. It wouldn't surprise me to see him go back to Spain, and I reckon he'll be brilliant there. I will.
Mm,
I do
yeah,
because he's a
yeah.
great player. He's a great player.
And listen, as they said it on many channels, he's always he hasn't left yet, but he's got to be remembered. He scored that goal in the semi-final. He's in West Ham history now. He is. He's
Mm.
West Ham history now. Yeah, I'll be gutted when he goes there. Be gutted. Great player. Peter, our friend, I don't agree with this comment, Pete. Sorry. Wrong game, wrong time to put Kudus on. He looked weak and almost scared, like Paqueta's first game with us.
Scared. It's the first thing he did.
Was try and run at people.
Yeah, and the commentator even picked it out on telly. Was the first thing he did was pick up the ball and take on 3 players instead of playing it backwards. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know what game you were watching, mate.
yeah, and
I
he
know
was
you were
there.
there.
He
Yeah, I
was
know you
there
were there, but come on, Peter.
on that win.
Peter was, mate. Peter was there to watch Man City. He was there to watch Haaland.
I think Peter thought that Frank Lampard was coming on for West Ham. On another day, the score could have been 9-3. Maybe Moyes is okay with only a 2-goal difference. Yeah, it could have been, but it wasn't, mate. That's the point. It could have been, couldn't have been. The Brighton game, which we won 3-1, that could have been 4-3 Brighton if Areola weren't there to pull off worldies. You have to do it by what the result is at the end of the game. And yes, they should have had a few more goals, but West Ham were in it at times. We were in it.
Yeah, and listen, and I know obviously I can see that Mark's taking it into account by giving us 3. But yeah, on another day that Zumareda goes into the bottom corner. On another day, Antonio doesn't mess his touch up and he puts it in. Swings and roundabouts, isn't it? And yeah, we said earlier during when we were rounding up the game, City deserved to win. They did. Man City deserved to win that game, but we didn't get pumped. Like it weren't one-sided madness.
No,
I
but all
think we played
teams,
well.
mate, all teams when they play them, they've got to at times have a period where they're facing like 5 or 6 shots in a 15-minute period. Do you know what I mean? And it's whether you can survive that. And at that point in the game, we survived it. We just, I texted you at half time, didn't I? I went, 1 goal is not going to be enough. Sometimes against City, 2 goals is not even enough. You have to take your chances and hope you ride your luck a little bit. That's just what it is against them big teams. It really is. And that's not me being like, oh, Man City, let's bow down to them. Like, it's just, that is how it is. Overall, we are improving, but just enough yet match City. Sorry, but just enough yet to match Man City.
I think there's supposed to be a not in there. Yeah, no, we're a long way off for Man City.
Yeah,
so are most teams. So are most teams.
Yeah. Sean says, I agree with this. Alvarez is our glue. We struggled to play out the back when he went off. Yeah, he's so good, isn't he? Like when he picks it up at the centre back position, and he'll have a look, and then he might do a little run to just get himself a few yards of space. Very, very clever player. I'm a big fan. Where do you lie with him?
Yeah, brilliant. He's been a fantastic signing. We knew this coming into the season. He is a little bit of a worry when it comes to picking up bookings, and a couple of Moyes actually did mention it in the post game. You know, he got booked and he gave away a couple of free kicks on the edge of the box, which weren't great. And I think he needs to work on that. But he's exactly the player that we needed. Exactly the player that we needed. And I can see Bowden's popped up in the comments, and you know, we were joking. He was saying about Declan Rice will never be replaced. And I don't think we haven't replaced Declan Rice with one player. We've replaced him with two. We've replaced him with Ward-Prowse.
We've got more
Yeah,
balance.
we've got Ward-Prowse to do that moving forward bit, and then Alvarez to be that sitting defensive midfielder. And it's exactly what we needed. And we are a better balanced team for it. We're a better balanced team.
Yeah,
Alvarez.
There's some holes in the team, but
still some holes in the team. And like I say, for me, it's such a shame. You know, the changes that Moyes wanted to make. It's such a shame that he couldn't make them because Alvarez, you know, whether he got injured or it was fatigue or whatever it was, because I would have loved to have seen that. I think if we'd have been able to see Alvarez at the base, Paqueta, Ward-Prowse in the middle, and then, as I say, Kudus, Bowen, Benrahma in front, I would have loved to have seen that. I really hope we see that team going forward. I do. I really hope we see that going forward. But yeah, brilliant player, brilliant signing.
It's difficult to call out players when they are getting rings run around them by the best team in the world. This low block is boring and putting unnecessary pressure on our midfielders and defenders. Yep. Looks like we need another holding midfielder. Could have done with Downs yesterday after Alvarez went off. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. Hopefully he's okay. Like I say, me and Paul are going to talk about the European game in a minute, but hopefully he's okay for Liverpool. Morning, gents. I know it's the way things are, but I find Man City boring because they are so dominant. Not knocking the players or Pep. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Sometimes when you watch them, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. But that's their whole method. They want to send, you know, their teams. You know, they want to drain the energy out of the fans. They want to drain the energy out of the players, and then you lose your concentration for 1 second, and they go boom, 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 and it's a goal. But yeah, I like Man City. I do, and I'd rather them. Jesus Christ.
I see a lot of people slagging off sort of tiki-taka football and possession-based football. But I mean, people like to watch different things. Do you know what I mean? Personally, I really enjoy that. I enjoy that, watching that technical side of it. And, you know, for me, Pep's Barcelona team is the greatest club side of all time. I loved watching that team. Most people say, I hated that team because it was so boring. But I enjoyed watching that, you know. I thought it was good.
I don't mind it, but I prefer swashbuckle style. I'd rather watch Liverpool's Klopp that won the league, like that sort of really fast. You know, the way Newcastle played last year. I prefer that sort of style. But yeah, you can't fault it. You do not just play like that. You know, the amount of coaching, etc., that has to go into the way they play. I joked with you, didn't I? You know, Ruben Diaz and Akanji goes into most Premier League teams midfield. Yeah. Their goalkeeper could go into our midfield. Do you know what I mean? Like they're that comfortable on the ball. All their players, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous that what was his name? Govido, is that his name? How you say it?
Vardio
playing left back for him last. Yeah,
Vardio.
Mate, he was just picking it up, and he's like 18-yard box. And then you get Ruben Diaz picks it up in the 18-yard box, and Rodri's just ridiculous. How good that player is, absolutely ridiculous. We are struggling with subs. Benny coming on his point. I didn't think he was good yesterday. I'll be honest with you. I thought he was really poor yesterday.
And he came on at a tough point in the game. I would have liked, and I do feel like we need something on that left-hand side different. And again, this is a shame because it's obvious that Moyes wanted a left-sided player during the transfer window. Yeah, obviously we're trying to sign Harvey Barnes, and you know, it's obviously we're looking at that. I would have preferred to have seen Benrahma start rather than come off the bench on that left-hand side. And as I say, play Paqueta in the middle. I wouldn't. I personally, I would drop Souček now. I would drop Souček, play Paqueta, and Ward-Prowse in the middle. Play Benrahma on the left from the start.
If Alvarez is injured, he ain't going to get dropped, is he?
No, he's not. I think, you know, again, just reading the comments afterwards, and Alvarez did an interview that I saw on the official site as well, basically saying that it wasn't an injury, it was fatigue because he came back late from international duty.
Yeah, from Mexico as well, yeah.
Yeah, he apparently his flights were delayed or something, and he came back late. And that's all it was. It was sort of tiredness rather than an injury. So hopefully that's the case. But yeah, Ings coming on his worst. I don't know. I think Ings didn't really do anything yesterday.
The thing is, that's all we've got. I don't know. Was Mabama on the bench yesterday? Mabama on the bench?
I don't recall, mate.
John says, with a few tweaks in January, we could seriously be top 4 contenders. Yeah, after the way we're playing, we definitely could. But again, will they back him? Typical Sullivan. If we were sitting in top 4, top 5, would go, that's it. I've saved myself 50, 60 million this January. Don't need to buy a panic striker or anything. We know what it's like. We played at the best club in the world and did well. Shane, they scored after 40 seconds. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree, mate. Just totally agree with that. Emerson, I would be looking for a defender and pushing him up higher on the pitch, maybe a replacement. But it's not a bad shout, We get a decent left back in, and then you put him left midfield. What do you think on that? I wouldn't be against that.
I think the only issue with that, he's very direct and he's brilliant at linking up, and he's very comfortable. But when he gets into those advanced positions, some of the positions he got into yesterday were mad. Like there was one time, there was one play in the game. It was Emerson breaking into the box, and he nearly got onto it.
Sort of burst in, didn't he? Yeah. And I think Ward-Prowse had a shot.
Yeah,
Ward-Prowse had a shot off it. Yeah.
He ended up in the middle of the box breaking in. Like I remember, I was watching it thinking, how the hell did he end up there? But I don't know what his crossing is like. I don't really remember him making crosses. He likes to cut inside and play little triangles, and he likes to run into the box. And you'll see him run into the box and have a shot. But I don't know what his crossing is like.
Yeah. That's a good one. I'll be watching out for that now. Emerson's crosses. Question: has Kudus been brought in as a replacement for Bowen? Bowen seems to not want to renew his contract. Yeah, by all accounts, he won't sign a new contract if David Moyes is there next summer, mate.
I think there's two things to that. Has he been bought to replace Bowen? No, I don't think so. I think he's been bought to replace Bowen's position on the right hand side with Bowen moving up front. I don't think the idea is for him to replace Bowen. I think Moyes and I think the club obviously would want Bowen to sign a new contract. But no, you're right. He is holding off at the minute. It's not ideal. I think the problem with Bowen, and it depends on the season he has this season. I don't know where he goes. That's a step up from us.
I still think that Klopp likes him as.
But he's never going to.
Salah's going to go.
He's not starting for Liverpool.
You don't think if Salah left, no?
Nah, no way. You think they're going to replace Mo Salah with Jared Bowen? Listen, I love Bowen, but he ain't that level.
No. He's not. He's not Salah. No, I'm not saying that.
They'll be looking. If Salah goes, they'll be looking at,
or something like that.
Yeah, they'll be looking at the top players in the world to replace him. They're not looking at Jared Bowen. If Jared Bowen goes to Liverpool, he'll be a Diego Jota type player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I say, I love Bowen, but I don't know where he goes. That's a step up from West Ham, where he's going to play regularly anyway.
Yeah. That's a fair point. Mate. We massively need a right back, and we massively need another striker in the same mould as Antonio. But we put a good fight up yesterday. Alvarez was a massive mess when he went off. Massive loss. Massive loss. We've said that, mate. We wanted a performance beforehand. We gave them a game, nothing to complain about. On to Europe, and then our annual defeat at Anfield. What other comments? Yeah, got a few more comments, then we'll talk about Europe. I agree with you about Fornals. I think he's done well despite Moyes. That said, it's really tricky to keep everyone in the squad involved. I agree. Areola has been man of the match in 3 out of 5 games. Chelsea, Brighton and City. Low block is one thing, but relying on a goalkeeper so heavily says we can see far too many chances. Yeah, the fact that we lost...
That's a fair point.
3-1 and Areola was man of the match for us probably says a lot, doesn't it?
It's a fair point.
So I'm just laughing there. Just got a text from Peter. Please do not skip my comments. Dan's isn't putting up any trees at Southampton at the moment. I've watched his last couple of games. Hasn't been great. How can Jeremy Doku start for City, but Kudus needs time? I agree. And he sort of, I don't know if you've seen Moyes talk about him as well, saying, "Oh, he needs time to learn how to do this." And that.
Do you know?
He better play on Thursday. Kudus has to start on Thursday.
Do you know what I think it is? And I can't believe I'm defending David Moyes, but I think, like I say, I'm almost certain the plan is to play him on the right and move Bowen up front. And I think after the way that Antonio has started the season, I feel like he probably felt he couldn't drop Antonio. I think if Antonio hadn't scored in the last couple of games, he would have been dropped. Kudus would be playing on the right, Bowen would be playing up front. And I think Antonio was poor yesterday. And I think over the next couple of weeks, unless Antonio, as absolute wonder games, I think that's what will happen. I think Kudus will come in and Bowen will go up front. I'm not convinced, by the way. I know that's the plan. I'm not convinced that Jarrod Bowen is going to do well up front for us.
What about this?
Mickey left wing, Kudus mid, Bowen right. Yeah, and we've spoke before about Antonio playing left wing. I wouldn't be against it. It's something that I'd be
over there, didn't he? Tony Gale said it, didn't he? Again, in commentary, where Haaland's always making them runs, that ball might not ever come, but he takes up the positions. Antonio, there's points where Bowen gets through or whatever, and he's all the way over here on the wing.
This is our problem. We don't have a natural striker anymore. We don't. The only natural striker we've got in the squad now is Mubama. Oh, I suppose Danny Ings. Sorry, I completely forgot about Danny Ings. Yeah. But that is an issue when we're playing, and I personally think this will be the same issue if Bowen plays up front. He's going to naturally want to drift out to the right, and he's better cutting in from the right. Yeah. So that is an issue, but that's a free that I'd be open to see.
Mubama played against Celtic, so that's why he wasn't on the bench. It's a shame Bowen isn't signing a new contract, but I can see him going to Liverpool easily. He's only 26 and wants to stay, but I reckon he could be a good fit for Liverpool. Like you say, he would be more of a squad player than a starter. Same as if he went to an Arsenal, you've got to try and get in front of a Saka, haven't you? Right, let's move on, mate. So the Europa League kicks off again this week. I've just got I had to remind myself the name of the team we're playing. Baka Topala. And it is at home. It's not away. So I can't say I know much about them. Should be a win really, though, shouldn't it? That I'm just looking at their recent form. They've won their last 4 games in their league. I don't know much about their league. Like I say, I'll do that more for a preview tomorrow. But just start off with a win, mate, and try and rotate some of the players, get Kudus in. Give Fornals some minutes. What about you, mate? Anything else?
Yeah, of course. That needs to be the plan. Rotate the side, give a couple of players a rest, get some players some minutes, and it's a game we absolutely. If we're looking on going through to the knockout stages, it's absolutely a game we need to be targeting as a win, especially at home as well. We need to, and I expect us to win the game as well. I do. I expect us to win the game.
100%. I'm just looking at them. Serbian league, they are, won 6-3 the weekend. Just seeing where they are in their league at the moment. Can't see. Like I say, they're doing okay. Their top goal scorer is a guy called Jean-Philippe Crosco. Can't say I know any of their players, but I will do a bit more research before tomorrow. But like I say, mate, it's just about starting off good, try not to get too many injuries, being able to have a good enough fitness level squad ready for Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool play as well. Liverpool will be playing Thursday as well. So we've both got the same issue. I'm not sure, I can't remember who they're playing, but they are playing in Europa League as well. So, like I say, just get a win. It's at home. You've got to be winning that game. What do you expect in the Europa League? In terms of just the group alone, we should, I keep saying it, we should be at least finishing second. Do you know what I mean?
I
ideally be winning the group, but
Yeah, I think we will win the group. I said this at the time the draw was made. I don't really fear the teams in the group. I feel like we are the strongest team. And I said this before as well, and I think this is important. It's not as if we're new to European games anymore. It's not as if we're new to European competitions.
And it's not
It's our
like we're
third.
new to Thursday, Sunday
No,
either.
exactly. It's our third season in a row. We got to the semi-finals in the Europa League last time. We won the Europa Conference League. We're experienced Europe. Obviously we haven't got a decade of European games behind us,
In current,
but
modern
yeah,
history, we are
yeah,
experienced European team now.
absolutely, absolutely. So that's not an excuse. And I genuinely, I think we should go through pretty comfortably. I really do. I think
Yeah.
we should go
My,
through to
my
the knockout
only
stage.
worry is a sort of underestimating performance.
Mm,
We come up against like Olympiacos in a couple of weeks, or even that Freiburg to a certain extent, and we just don't like be killer. Like, just go and kill these teams. Kill them
mm,
quick, get through, and then hopefully, like I say, it looks like should be. It's a long way to go, but you'd like to think we'll be nearly safe by February as well, February,
mm,
March time, and you can really push on and go for them later rounds again. And that's
mm.
what you want. That's what you want. Yeah. But yeah, I'll be do the preview tomorrow for that one. Yeah. And then Liverpool, mate, on Sunday. The games don't get much easier. After City, Liverpool, probably them and Arsenal, probably two teams you don't want to play at the minute. Yeah, I think we sort of touched on it a little bit for those people that are just joining us, though, mate. I think we can hurt them, mate. I do. I think
Mm.
we can give them a game. Listen, it's a
Yeah.
ground we've only won once in 50 years. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I
Van
agree,
Dijk
mate. I
will be
think,
back for them. Van Dijk will be back from his suspension.
but I mean, Van Dijk hasn't been great either recently.
But he's not the Van Dijk of
No,
4 years ago.
he's not. Their defense, and like you say, playing Joe Gomez at right back, they can be got at. They can be got at. And to be honest, mate, it's crazy. The amount of money that they've spent on their forwards, they're not really impressing either. Obviously, Salah is Salah. He's still absolute
Yeah,
world class.
Nunes looks like he's on it now.
I don't
But he
know. Does
didn't.
he?
I know he didn't play yesterday, but if you'd seen the previous sort of 4 games, he has looked really good, really, really good.
I mean, that's I feel like you look at him, and then like Gakpo. They've got players that on paper should be fantastic, but they don't really seem to link well together.
No,
They're not quite on
It's
the
not
same
fully clicked
page.
yet. Like
Yeah.
McAllister. McAllister is a fantastic player, but again,
Mm,
he didn't look great yesterday. And
mm.
they've got that other guy. I'm not even going to pronounce his name. I'm just going to say Sobzed. Um, Subalaze or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
But him, like, he's meant to be the new Kevin De Bruyne, isn't he? He does look good. He does look good. But again, it's
Mm.
not proper clicked yet, has it? It's not fully clicked yet.
Yeah. No, it's not. And absolutely, I think we can get them. Absolutely, I do. I really do. Tough game, obviously, at Anfield, but yeah, no, I want to see us give it a go. I want to see us give it a go.
Yeah. Sort of any changes you would make? Let's assume that Alvarez is fit.
I said it about 6 million times already. I would take Soucek out. I would move Paqueta in the middle. Paqueta is more than capable of covering defensively. We've seen it, as I said again, more tackles than any other player in the league this season. More than capable of playing that role. I don't think he'll drop Antonio. I think Antonio will still be starting. I would want to see. It's interesting because, you kind of want. I'm trying to think about what I would do on the right hand side. Bowen hasn't really got the pace. We were just talking about their issues at right back. Has Bowen really got the pace to scare a Joe Gomez or something? I would maybe want to see Kudus play there, but then that means that you would have to move Bowen up front. I don't know. Unless
Bowen
you
would
went.
be running against Robertson anyway, wouldn't he?
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Yeah. Flip side, isn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe I would play Kudus then on the left.
And let him just go wild, yeah.
Yeah.
Side,
So play Kudus on the left, play Bowen on the right. Yeah. Just to try and target that position.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
I hope we
interesting to
do
see
beat him.
what.
I don't really like Liverpool either. I know you don't. I know you work with a lot of Liverpool fans, so you know you get that. Like I get it with the Arsenal fans, you get it with the Liverpool fans. So yeah, if it's one game that you want that Paul wants to win, it's definitely this one.
Liverpool and
And
Man
then,
United are the worst, mate. They're the two
yeah,
worst
and
for
then you
me.
get all the texts, don't you? You get the low block and when we have beaten before, the classic. Oh, anyone can win if you part the bus for 90 minutes. Oh, shut up. God, I can't stand this self-entitlement, man. Right, last few comments, then we'll wrap it up. As disappointing as yesterday was, it would have been a shock if we would have won, and if we're totally honest with ourselves. Yeah, I said it before the game. I've been saying it all week in work last week. If West Ham would have beat Man City, I start believing we're going to win the bloody league. You start getting that sort of hope. That's West Ham fans ain't going to win the league. We're never going to have that, sadly. Freiburg are a good side, and Olympiacos have a good European pedigree. I wouldn't underestimate those two teams, but that's exactly what I said.
Yeah. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that they're going to be easy games. I don't want us to underestimate them, but I don't fear them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't fear them.
That's what I said. That's the only thing that I can see us getting beat is by underestimating them. Liverpool beatable, they definitely are, but they haven't been beat for 16 games. Though. Let's just remember that. Looking forward to the Liverpool game. I reckon more chance of getting something there than against City would be nice. Of course, I agree with you. I'm so good at pronunciation. I'm just joining, and I think we have every chance of beating Liverpool. Paul's best player at the moment is the new boy. Yep, the one I can't pronounce. Oh, here we go. This is how you pronounce it, apparently. Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai. Good on FIFA. I think we have a chance of Liverpool. They're not as good as City, breaking and park the bus on the counter. Yeah, and they do have a few wobbles. Alisson, isn't it, their goalie? He is prone to a little wobble every now and then he has a little wobble. I could see Kadu starting on Thursday and then on the bench Sunday. Yeah, I think I agree. I think we'll wrap it up there, mate. Like I say, there's not much more to talk about. There'll be a lot more next week because we'll have the European game. We'll be building up to the Liverpool game. We'll have a lot more to talk about. One last comment here. It's not an easy group. And there's some iffy away games, but we should be going through. We've set an expectation level at the last 2 years that storming the groups is the norm. It rarely usually happens. That's a good point as well. Yeah, I do think we have a little slip in there as well. What else we got here? Cheers, guys. Coming your mind. Yeah. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm not going to read any more comments out. Me and Paul will be back next week. These become more regular now. I've got so much videos to do this week. I've got bloody preview, review. So loads and loads of content that will be coming back, and it will be a bit more regular, like I say, now the games are back. Until next time, guys, come on, you ones, keep believing. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let's go.
Cheers.